In this exclusive series, we sit down with our Director of Racing, Rick Kane, to get an inside look at what it takes to keep the racing program running smoothly. Welcome to Talking with Rick, a behind-the-scenes look at harness racing right here at Pocono Downs at Mohegan, Pennsylvania. In this segment, Rick walks us through the process of accepting horses onto the grounds and the strict criteria each one must meet before they can race.
We have conditions based on earnings in the last 4 starts here at Pocono. We also have conditions based on lifetime wins and lifetime earnings. They enter online. The old day used to be like they used to come into a racing office and enter on paper. Everything is online, and that's how it's done in the 21st century now. What we do is we get all the entries, we go through them, we go by preference date. A preference date is the date of the horse's last start for a person, and the ones who have the oldest dates, they get preference. Sometimes we have races that are PA preferred, meaning they're either PA sired, PA owned, or PA trained. Those horses get preference over the other horses when they're classified as PA preferred. We have some races that have also eligibles. Those horses are next in line in case there's a scratch in a race. And again, we go by preference date. So if they have like the newer dates, they don't get in the race unless there's a scratch in a race. And then they move in, preferably like the day after the draw is when they have the scratch time. Whether a horse might be sick or lame or whatever, then this also eligible will move into the race. Today, harness racing has horses from all over the world, not only American bred, but you see horses from France, Sweden, Norway, even Australia, New Zealand, Ireland. It's come a long ways. It's an international sport today.
Thanks for joining us for Talking with Rick. Stay tuned for more behind-the-scenes access right here at Pocono Downs at Mohegan, Pennsylvania. In this segment, Rick shares how we collaborate with our sister track in Chester and how that partnership strengthens racing at both venues. Welcome to Talking with Rick.
Every year, late in the fall, we have the race secretaries meetings down in Florida where we try to schedule stake races so they don't conflict with other racetracks. Primarily, we do a pretty good job at it, but now, because there's so many tracks and so many stakes, sometimes it's a little bit hard to get them so they're separated. And that's where trainers have, they can choose and pick which races they want to go to try to find the best one for their horse. Here at Pocono, we try to work with our sister track down in Chester, Harris, Philadelphia, as far as like making sure there's no conflicts with overnight races, and we do a pretty good job with that. So, like given the horsemen who primarily race up the 2 tracks, they have options for like the same conditions for different days and different draw days to which they can easily enter.
Thanks for joining us for Talking with Rick. Ever wonder how purses are determined? Rick breaks it down, explaining the key factors that go into those all-important prize pools. Welcome to Talking with Rick.
Generally on a race card, you will see the feature race, which is here. If we race 10, the feature is usually the highest purse for the day, and that's why we kind of highlighted the fact that it's going for the most money for the day. Purses are determined with consultation with the Pennsylvania Harness Horsemen's Association as to what each level goes for, what the minimum purse for overall is, and what the top purse is for the complete week. And that's done well before the meet starts, so that's when it's determined.
Rick walks us through qualifiers, how and when they're scheduled, and what it takes to get ready.
Qualifiers are needed if a horse hasn't raced in the last 45 days with a clean charted line. Also, if a horse has had some time off due to lameness or sickness, sometimes they have to be qualified per the judges. So again, the qualifiers are held every Wednesday in the morning, and we go from there. Every track has their own qualifying standards for both the pace and the trot. Ours is 2-1 for the pace and 2-3 for the trot for aged horses, and then we give allowances for 2- and 3-year-olds. But again, every track has their own standards.
Thanks for joining us for Talking with Rick. With decades in the sport, Rick reflects on his career in harness racing, sharing milestones, lessons, and a few stories along the way. Welcome to Talking with Rick.
Okay, I began my career in 1971 as assistant race secretary up in Hinsdale, New Hampshire at the racetrack there. Since then, which is a few decades ago, I've worked at 17 racetracks, 9 states. I've worked everywhere from Bangor, Maine to Pompano Beach, Florida. Obviously a lot of tracks in between. I come from a racing family. My father and brother, my late brother, were in it, and I didn't think I was going to be in it, but I'm in it. So life is what happens when making the change plans. I started here in 2011, coming up from Harris, Philadelphia.
Thanks for joining us for Talking with Rick. From nominations to final results, Rick gives us a detailed look at how stakes races are structured and run. Welcome to Talking with Rick.
Pocono Downs is a member of the Grand Circuit, which entails stake races, and you see the bigger races going for the bigger purses. And what happens is, like a lot of stake races, they nominate at a very early date and they put money into it, and that's why you get the big purses for these races. They initially make a nomination, then they have to make sustaining payments, and then also when the day of the race comes, they have to put in starting fees. So that's what overall adds to the large purse for these big races. As far as claiming a horse goes, here at Pocono, the person comes in to make a claim right in the race office. They have the forms filled out, and they either have like money on account with the horseman's bookkeeper, accounting office, or they bring in a certified check for the amount of the claim. Also, they have to bring in a separate check, a personal check for the transfer to the United States Trotting Association. And they drop it off. The claim is taken up to the judges. If there's multiple claims on a horse, the winning claim is drawn by lot by the judges up at the judges' stand, and it's announced after the race. Claims have to be put in at least a half hour before the post time of the race. Post positions used to be done in the judge's office with a pill box with pills in it, each pill having a number for the post position drawn out by a horseman. Today, post positions are drawn by computer. It's all done by the USCA computer. Sometimes in the feature race or the winners over pace, trot, or the open, you'll see post positions assigned. That is like something a race secretary has the option to do when he feels it might be a better race, when assignment is given to the better horses to the outside of other horses.
Thanks for joining us for Talking with Rick.